Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including the latest from Tesla's earnings call, Model Y sales surging in the US, Tesla producing the first Cybertruck in Texas, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, the Model Y keeps growing in popularity, and one place it's continuing to surge is the United States. We now know that the Model Y is the best-selling car of any type globally, but Kelley Blue Book's new study is showing that between January and May of 2023, Americans registered twice as many Model Ys as last year. Quote, the numbers come from the credit reporting agency Experian, which also tracks new car registrations. EVs now made up 7% of new car registrations for the first 5 months of the year, up from 4.6% last year. That's big news since Americans tend to be behind certain other countries in EV adoption, and it's where Tesla is headquartered. What will be very interesting is to see how things change there even more once the Cybertruck is ramping up production. At the same time, the Model Y has also achieved a milestone over in Malaysia. Tesla Malaysia secured 10,000 Model Y orders 4 days after launching it there. It's an example of how popular this car quickly becomes once it enters a new market, and Tesla is reportedly still considering entering India. That could be a huge market for Tesla, and we'll have to see how that all develops. Either way, Elon Musk's predictions for this car are coming very true across the board. Next up today, a breakdown of Tesla's earnings report and call. They talked quite a bit about the Cybertruck and confirmed it coming soon. However, for the Project Highland Model 3, it seems Tesla is still waiting to reveal that product. We'll talk about that a bit more in just a second. As for profitability, Tesla had a 9.6% operating margin, $2.4 billion GAAP operating income, and $2.7 billion GAAP net income. As for operations, they said Cybertruck factory tooling on track, producing release candidate builds, and Model Y became the best-selling vehicle globally in Q1. For the summary, they noted their best ever production and deliveries in Q2, a healthy margin, the start of Dojo production, and more, and finished by saying, in conclusion, we are focusing on cost reduction, new product development that will enable future growth, investments in R&D, better vehicle financing options, continuous product improvement, and generation of free cash flow. The challenges of these uncertain times are not over, but we believe we have the right ingredients for the long-term success of the business through a variety of high-potential projects. The things that positively affected revenue were growth in vehicle deliveries and growth in other parts of the business, whereas the negative effects were reduced ASP year over year and negative FX impact of $0.6 billion. As for solar deployment, they deployed 66 megawatts of solar, but I think the coolest statistic to see is supercharger stations growing to 5,265 and connectors growing to 48,082. This should just keep growing exponentially as they open up their chargers to more non-Tesla customers. Regarding their installed annual capacity, Berlin has increased. Cybertruck is in tooling, the Semi is in pilot production in Nevada, their next-gen platform is in development at various locations, and the Roadster still says in development and TBD for location. For Tesla's US factories, they said, at Gigafactory Texas, in addition to the continued success of the Model Y ramp, we are also working on equipment installation for Cybertruck production, which remains on track for initial deliveries this year. We have made notable progress on yield improvement of our 4680 cell production lines. We continue building capacity for cathode production and lithium refining in the US. This is very exciting to hear reiterated with the Cybertruck, while they continue growing everything else. Furthermore, for the Cybertruck, they said, we are now testing Cybertruck vehicles around the world for final certification and validation. This might be the most unique vehicle product in decades. With that comes trialing and testing new technologies. As far as we know, Cybertruck will be the first sub-19-foot truck fitting into a garage that has both 4 doors and 6+ feet bed. Both technologically and architecturally, this vehicle will break a lot of boundaries, very much in line with how we think about vehicle engineering and manufacturing. This is very exciting to consider as the Cybertruck should bring tons of functionality in a smaller and more efficient package than any prior truck. For the future outlook, they said Cybertruck remains on track to begin initial production later this year at Gigafactory Texas. In addition, we continue to make progress on our next generation platform. Not much new about their next platform either on the call or in this report, but for Cybertruck pricing, Elon simply reminded people that there's a lot of new technology in this truck. To me, that's not the best sign for this starting at a low cost. On the AI side of things, the miles driven with the FSD beta continues growing, and Elon once again reiterated that he thinks Tesla FSD will be better than a human this year. This time though, he added that I've been wrong in the past and I could be wrong this time. I'm personally counting on him being wrong, but I would also love to be proven wrong. For the price, since he's looking so far into the future, he sees $15,000 for the FSD package as a very low price. Regarding licensing of FSD to other automakers, Tesla said for the first time that they're currently in talks to license their tech to another major automaker. This would be very big for the future, but the most exciting thing for a lot of customers is that Tesla finally answered the question of, can we transfer FSD, with a yes. Up until now, the way full self-driving has worked is that you buy this package with the promise of future features. They arrive when they arrive, which has not been yet. And then that software package that you paid for stays with the car. So when you sell your Tesla, the FSD package goes with the car. That wouldn't be much of a problem if people valued the FSD package, but even Tesla on trade-in does not value the FSD package nearly what it costs at $15,000. So a lot of customers from a few years ago are not upgrading their cars because they're locked into full self-driving that they maybe paid $8,000 for, and today, if they buy a new car, they're going to lose that package and have to pay $15,000 to get it in their new one. Especially since the functionality Tesla has promised here has not arrived yet, many have urged Tesla over the years to allow people to transfer their FSD package. It's simply a software upgrade. There's nothing hardware about it. It's one click for Tesla to enable this, and it would allow customers to keep their full self-driving package that they invested in for this technology that still has yet to arrive, buy another Tesla, help out with Tesla's current revenue, and keep their full self-driving investment. Well, finally, Elon Musk answered this question saying, yes, Tesla is going to allow transfer of FSD. However, there's, of course, a caveat. First, you can only transfer once. This is a one-time thing, and it's within Q3. So he said you have to take delivery in Q3 or order it within Q3 with a reasonable soon delivery time for this to be honored. First, let's talk about the positive here. For those who have been waiting for this to happen and really want to upgrade to the latest version of a Tesla, but are locked into full self-driving from a few years ago, they can finally upgrade cars in Q3 and keep their full self-driving package. That should be great for customers who have been specifically waiting for this to happen, and it's good for Tesla because it drives more sales. For me, it does beg the question though, why are they only doing this for Q3? And I think it's probably because they still haven't released the Project Highland Model 3 and they want to clear out more inventory. This allows a lot of customers to upgrade to a new Tesla. Tesla gets it out of the door, and then they switch production to the Project Highland Model 3, which is rumored this year, and the Project Juniper Model Y, which is rumored next year, and FSD transfers are completely gone. So there's a positive there, but it doesn't really solve the issue at hand here. The issue at hand still is at play unless you're definitely wanting to upgrade to a new car within Q3. I still think that buying FSD makes absolutely no sense at $15,000 unless you're absolutely the kind of person that wants to try out a beta technology. And as pointed out by the Kilowatts, this still has the same issue at hand. If a tree falls on your Tesla on October 1st, your FSD investment for $15,000 is just completely gone. So a lot of people are very excited about this, but I'm not that excited about it because it's only lasting for a little over 2 months. It's also frustrating for customers who had to already deal with this. There are plenty of customers who had full self-driving, bought a new Tesla and upgraded, and paid for full self-driving again. I know that I lost full self-driving on my 2020 Model Y when I sold that car, and at the time there was no way to transfer it. Now, if I had known that there was a way to transfer it, that would have been great. Of course, that's how it goes with things developing and things changing, but it's still frustrating. I'm curious though, what are your thoughts on this? Leave a comment below to let me know. Are you going to upgrade to a new Tesla now that you can transfer your full self-driving package within Q3? I'm curious to hear there because they also talked about production decreasing within Q3 because of factory upgrades. Factory upgrades can come for a number of reasons, but one of the big ones we really think is happening is the Project Highland Model 3. Tesla said that they're still targeting 1.8 million deliveries within Q3, but they are expecting production to go down because they're doing lots of factory upgrades. The most obvious one there is the Model 3 production line at both Fremont and Giga Shanghai, updating to the new Project Highland Model 3. I made a full video about this, which is linked below, but it's supposed to bring a lot of great new features, an updated rear and interior design, changes for things in the interior, and most of all, changes to how it's manufactured that should make it cheaper for Tesla. I was definitely expecting Tesla to announce the Project Highland Model 3 at this earnings call, so I was wrong there, but we always knew it was rumor and speculation. It seems pretty obvious that that change is going to be happening within Q3 when they're doing all of these production updates. Next up today, the latest Cybertruck updates prior to the earnings call. First, Tesla posted on Twitter saying, first Cybertruck built at Giga Texas. This is a big milestone because this is the location where the Cybertruck is going to be built for production and deliveries. So far, prototypes have been made in Fremont or potentially their design studio. Now they're honing the production process and have made the first one at the factory built to make it. This actually puts them ahead of schedule from what we had previously heard through suppliers most recently. At the same time, we've seen leaks from Giga Texas as they're working on production. These photos show the Cybertruck's frame early in the production process and seem to confirm that the Cybertruck will not have a fold-down or adjustable midgate. This is disappointing to some, as this can be a great feature in trucks, but I'm sure Tesla has a reason for it in their design. It may prove too complicated with their great rolling tonneau cover. In any case, Tesla also posted a video of their seat testing robot, and it happens to be testing the Cybertruck seats for a lifetime of use. Quote, "Our seat testing robot performs 50,000 ingress-egress cycles, equivalent to a lifetime of use." This is the first time we've seen Tesla Cybertruck seats outside of a prototype, and it clearly shows that they are finalizing these for production. These seats have deep support on each side and appear to be very large, accommodating most people comfortably. Then, regarding the price of the Cybertruck, we're still waiting on that final reveal, but Elon Musk seems to have hinted that they may ship this truck cheaper than we expect. Ford recently dropped the price of the F-150 Lightning by $10,000, seemingly to boost demand, and Elon responded saying, "The Ford Lightning is a good vehicle, just somewhat expensive, especially given the high interest rates these days for any kind of loan." If he's calling this truck, which now starts at $50,000 MSRP, expensive, then where could the Cybertruck possibly start at? Perhaps it will still cost more than this, but will provide more value in areas where it counts, like range and charging capabilities. Next up today, Tesla has officially opened their second V4 supercharger in France. It's in a hotel parking lot and has 12 stalls, reportedly with space for 8 more, as well as solar panels on the roof. That could mean that in the future, these stations can be powered by their own 100% renewable energy. For now, though, it looks like this station is getting an electricity feed to power it, which is the case for most supercharger stations. These are Tesla's next generation taller V4 stalls. The 250 kilowatt V3 stalls we've seen elsewhere were rolled out in the US back in 2019, and this successor to those was first seen this March in the Netherlands. What makes them stand out is that they should be capable of 350 plus kilowatt charging speeds, vehicle permitting. There's also a longer cable on this design that'll make it easier for non-Tesla EVs to charge there. On top of that, there seems to be a drive-through charging bay for drivers towing boats and trailers. At the same time, a third V4 supercharger was spotted being built in Lyon, France. This looks to be the start of a transition for Tesla that could result in a much faster charging experience in the future, both for Tesla owners and other EV owners. They are continuing to open new V3 chargers though, and this is just the beginning of this transition. We haven't heard any new news about when we may start seeing these chargers in the US, but in the meantime, Tesla's network of V3 chargers will continue to grow. Those are already fast enough to charge most consumer vehicles with no problem, but these new chargers will likely make electric trucks a much more feasible option for customers. Next up today, right as Tesla is in the process of shifting all of their cars from hardware 3.0 to hardware 4.0, which includes better cameras and a better FSD computer, Tesla appears to already be working on their hardware 5.0 FSD chip. This is how technology works, as working on and designing a product for the future is much different than actually bringing it to market. But new reports say that Tesla has partnered with Samsung to produce a new FSD chip. Quote, "The chips, to be manufactured on Samsung's 4nm mode, will go into Tesla's hardware 5 computers, which the EV maker plans to mass produce 3 to 4 years from now," industry officials said on Tuesday. At this point, it's unclear if Tesla is only partnering with Samsung or if they'll also be working with Taiwan's TSMC. But as we know from Tesla, they want to ensure as few supply issues as possible in the future. Having multiple suppliers and writing firmware for each is what helped them navigate things in the past, so they may have multiple suppliers here. Either way, it seems to confirm one thing for me. If you want to buy a Tesla, once the car has the features you are happy with, just go for it. Many feel that their hardware 3.0 car is obsolete now that hardware 4.0 is out. I don't agree with that, but even so, if you had waited for hardware 4.0, Tesla is already working on 5.0. It's always going to be getting better, and you'll never be able to buy a Tesla that is fully future-proofed from any and all innovations that they'll be working on. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. Over at Nissan, they're facing a recall of over 1 million vehicles across 3 global markets. Bloomberg reports that the issue pertains to 5 models sold across Japan, Europe, and the US, and involved mechanical issues, including vehicles accelerating after exiting cruise control, along with a short circuit that can cause the motors to suddenly stop working while in motion. Nissan says there have been no accidents from these issues, and it currently affects the Note, Kicks, Serena, and Leaf EV. At GM, their battery woes seem to keep growing, and it's worrying many for the future of GM's EV plans. They are halting production at their CAMI EV assembly plant in Canada for the month, and it reportedly has to do with a battery shortage. Apparently, sales are through the roof, but quote, they're out at all GM plants. They need batteries, and it stems from a raw material bottleneck. This could pose bigger issues as GM is planning to launch a few different vehicles by the end of the year. We'll see how this launch goes, but we know that the first few on the Ultium platform have been slow. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to check out all the accessories that you should get for your Model Y or 3, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.